This is Plum Island Sound, and I'm headed downriver towards Ipswich from Newbury. I'm in Rowley right now. So headed downriver to hopefully make it out to Lanes Cove in Gloucester today for the night, and then head for the Isle of Shoals tomorrow morning. But we'll see what happens with the weather. There's couple little thunderstorms, or a thunderstorm that's the remains of it right there. But it was rolling thunder back up over Hampton and whatnot, and then it's come down this way and sort of petered out since then. So I came down the river with, actually before I even saw the storm, with the jib up, and then I was about to set the mainsail, and then I saw it getting dark, and then probably 20 minutes later heard a few rumbles of thunder when I was thinking about putting the mainsail up again. And then I kind of tried to watch where the clouds were that were making the noise, and they headed out towards sea, and the thunder actually stopped. There was only like maybe a dozen rumbles of thunder over a 20-minute time frame. So I've got a pretty light breeze, and I decided I could put the mainsail up, and I did that, and now I'm almost down to Ipswich. You can see this is Great Neck here, straight ahead. Greens Point up that way. I don't know if you can see the masts or not, but that's Greens Point Yacht Yard up in there. Greenhead Point. This is Grape Island on Plum Island. And then the next little clump of trees out is the Bluffs, where I spent an enjoyable evening 3 weeks ago at anchor, slept aboard, and then sailed back to Newbury the next morning. So it's been pretty quiet here out on the river. I did see a good-sized seal of some type. It wasn't our typical, little pop seals, the harbor seals that we see. It was something bigger than that, so I'm not sure. I think there's a larger breed of seal about, but we just don't see them regularly up in the river. So I'll have to look that up when I get back. Or maybe I could even do it on my phone. But a pretty quiet Sunday afternoon out on the river, not a whole lot of boat traffic. Just enough breeze to keep me cool and move the boat along, not just be sitting around out here with the sails flopping and slatting back and forth. But we'll see how that holds. It's super light winds predicted all day, except for the possibility of gusts in and around any thunderstorms that might pop up. But it's looking pretty clear to the northwest, which is where I'd be expecting storms to come in from. So hopefully we won't get anything like that. I'll be able to leave the full sail up. Won't have to reef or anything on the way out to Lanes Cove. And in the eventuality of thunderstorms, at least before I get down to the mouth, I've had the possibility of Greens Point, or even better yet, the Ipswich River. I could pull up in there for the evening and anchor up in town in Ipswich, grab a bite to eat up there at one of the local establishments. Probably Choke Bridge Pub. So, yeah. Looks like the windmills are turning down in Gloucester, so that's a good sign. There's a bit of a breeze down there. And that's where I'm hoping to go, is right down there between the break and the trees. That's where the Ipswich River empties into the ocean, into Ipswich Bay, which is part of the Atlantic. And so those windmills are down in Gloucester. I'm hoping to get down to Lanes Cove. We'll see if I get there today or not. Should be a pretty simple sail with the wind direction what it is. As long as the wind keeps up, any sort of breeze, I should make it there before nightfall. So here's hoping, God willing. And other than that, just a beautiful day out on the river. The clouds are kind of keeping the heat down a bit. There's not a lot of direct sun going on. So it's pretty comfortable out here right now, actually. Even though I got a long sleeve shirt on to kind of keep the sun off me. I'm not overly heated, so. This is the middle ground here, this grassy patch. And you can see the Ipswich Yacht Club down there, the big dock sticking out into the river. Bunch of boats anchored over alongside Plum Island, down by Sandy Point. Bunch of houseboats over by Grape Island. Grape Island was a long time sort of summer community, cottages and a small hotel out there. Also apparently a salt works before that. And they used to have a giant, well, not a clock, but a sundial. A giant sundial that stood out so you could see it from Ipswich and tell the time of day from over on Great Neck. And any summertime visitors could just see the sundial while they were out at Grape Island. And there was a ferry service with a steam-powered boat from Amesbury and possibly even Haverhill, the mill towns, and down to the hotel here. So it must have been a nice way to get out of the heat some days. Come down on the ferry to the Plum Island. Yeah, anyway, so the point of going to Lanes Cove, the idea is tomorrow morning, or tomorrow really whatever time I want, I'll be able to push off and either sail back up the Ipswich and the Parker River, or possibly head for the Isle of Shoals, where I could spend a few days out there. So those are the two options, but the nice thing about Lanes Cove is it's right on the ocean. There's no real tidal flow because there's no river associated with it. It's just a sheltered harbor. So you can get out of there pretty much whenever you want. And you don't have a long river to make your way down. Where the tide, if it's against you, it's going to make it virtually impossible to sail against it unless you got a really nice breeze in the right direction. So yeah, so we'll see how that works out. Maybe I'll get some dinner over at Lanes Cove, or I've got plenty of canned food aboard too. Could just be a Chef Boyardee night depending on what time I get in. Looks like the wind's lightened up quite a bit in just the past 10 minutes or so, but we shall see.